How to truly know yourself and what you want out of life. So, the way you do this is by savers, which is meditation, affirmations, visualization, reading, working out, and journaling. Got this from Hal Elrod's book called The Miracle Morning. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend reading it. If you don't want to read it, you can just look up Savers by Hal Elrod, and then it'll go into detail of each of these 6 things. There's 6 things. I'll say them again: meditation, affirmations, visualization, reading, working out, and journaling. So the way that this is going to make you figure out what you want in a life is that when you meditate, I'm going to go into each point and just kind of like give you some pointers. So when you meditate, you're really just calming your mind and you're not thinking about anything. You're just deep breathing, and it just helps relaxes your mind and just focusing on your breathing, because if you don't breathe, you have no life. You have to remember that. So it's just simple, just to focus on your breathing. Affirmations is really just dialing in on your goals and affirming what you actually want out of life. And it's helping you discover what you want out of life. And it just, you have to think your mind first what you want and then say it out loud. Visualization, it's very similar to that, in the sense of just you want to visualize what you want out of life. Obviously, like, you're going to have some thoughts of your own that you need to figure out, and that's why journaling comes in. I'll get to that last, though, and I think it's the most important. But next is reading. Like, once you figure out, like I said, thoughts of your own, what you want out of life, you read, you help develop your mind and to get it stronger and get it more, get thoughts into your mind. That helps a lot. Working out, there's literally 0 negative things that can happen from working out, and everything good happens from working out. So you have to remember that working out, there's only good things that happen from working out. There's nothing bad that actually happens from working out unless you get injured. But I don't think obviously I don't think that's going to happen unless you're like overly exerting it and you push it too far. Usually your instincts, like if you're overdoing it or not. And last but not least is journaling. I believe journaling is the most important, and I'm going to touch on this the most. All the 5 things that I just mentioned I think are extremely beneficial, but I think based on the title of this video, how to truly know what you want out of life, I think journaling is the number 1 way to figure out what you want out of life. Because if you just sit down and all you have is your thoughts, that's it, just your thoughts, you sit down, pen and paper, you just have your thoughts and you just journal, you start to realize, like, what do you actually want out of life? Because you are the only person who actually knows what you want out of life. Like, nobody else knows but you. So what that means is that when you journal, when you have a pen and paper and you're just writing things down, you're the only person whose thoughts are going on that paper. So whatever thoughts that you have going on that paper, you need to make that into your real life. You need to make that into reality, because that's going to be the thing that makes you happiest in life. That's going to be the thing that actually enlightens you in life. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to live a different life. But if you sit down and you journal your thoughts on paper, you're going to realize like what you actually want, and just write down what comes to mind. Like, whatever you're thinking in your head, just write it down. You're just sitting still and you're just writing down whatever comes to mind. And you really have to, like, for me, like, when I first started doing this, it was amazing. Obviously, if you haven't been journaling, just start doing it and start realizing, like, you'll just start writing things. What happened for me, though, is like after a while, after I started journaling for a while, my thoughts kind of like disappeared, meaning I didn't have as many thoughts as I did before. When I first started journaling, I had tons of thoughts because I was just letting everything out. But, basically I was just writing the same things over and over again in my journal because, things are becoming clear in my life of what I actually want. And that becomes clear in your life once you get older, and once you start to realize things, like you do start to realize what you want out of life. You start to realize that what you actually do want out of life, and journaling helps figure that out for you, like what you want out of life. I think journaling is the number one way that's going to make you figure out what you want out of life. If you really don't know, just take out a pen and paper, a full piece of paper, and write down the full page, and then like reread that and reread what you wrote, and then everything's going to get a little clearer for you. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.